Hey guys, and welcome to another Jungle Cup PvP video. And in this video, we're going to go over the Sleeper Pit hidden in the jungle, a Pokemon that would be happy to stick its neck out for you. And you can probably see, so you already know that Pokemon is GIRAFARIG. No one till reversal. And thanks to He Who Knows Not on Reddit, who brought GIRAFARIG to my attention when I posted my Rainbow Cup meta infographic, which if you want to check that out, you can click up there. But for now, back to GIRAFARIG. So you may be like, oh, GIRAFARIG's a normal type, it'll just be outclassed by Vigoroth like all the other ones. And yeah, Vigoroth is better, but GIRAFARIG has the dual Psychic type, which makes it so that Vigoroth's counter damage is only neutral instead of super effective. And so because of that, GIRAFARIG can actually hold its own and in some situations actually beats Vigoroth. So we'll get into that, but before we'll get into GIRAFARIG's moves. GIRAFARIG only has Confusion and Tackle as its quick moves, in which case Confusion is definitely the way to go. It may not be as powerful as it was in the Nightmare Cup, but it's still a force to be reckoned with here. And for charge moves, there is Psychic and Mirror Coat, which aren't super exciting, but there's also Thunderbolt, which can provide some additional coverage towards the flying types in the meta, like Noctowl, Pidgeot, you know, the flyers. And because Thunderbolt is so much better than the other two, if you're low on Stardust, you can actually get away with not buying the second charge move and just sticking with Thunderbolt. And if you do want the extra coverage though, Psychic is the way to go, as it gets you some extra matchups on top of Mirror Coat. Speaking of, let's get into those matchups. So as a Confusion user, GIRAFARIG, he's better with shields than not by a far margin. Like you will see, it's massive. Now, putting GIRAFARIG with Confusion, Thunderbolt and Psychic up against what PvPoke has as the 22 Pokemon Jungle Cup meta in the 2 shield matchup, so where both Pokemon have 2 shields, GIRAFARIG actually wins 14 matches, loses 6 and draws 2. And one of those 14, which is over 50%, is up against Vigoroth. So granted, Vigoroth only actually uses 1 shield because we only get 1 charge move off, but you actually don't even have to do that. You can just hold the energy and use it on the next Pokemon. Obviously they'll probably shield that one because you're 2 shields down, but regardless, that's pretty nice being able to beat Vigoroth. That's already a massive bonus to any Pokemon in this meta. Now, GIRAFARIG also beats out all of the bug types that aren't using bug quick moves, so that means Venomoth, Beedrill, Heracross, Masquerain and Scyther, as well as beating the grass types, Venusaur and all that, all of the grass types. Plus, he's able to beat out Raichu and Magneton. He then ties with Alolan Graveler and Magnezone, and loses to Alolan Golem, Lantern, Noctowl, Scizor, Vespiquen and Fortress. So in the 2 shield matchup, it is crazy that it can beat over half of the Jungle Cup meta. And it gets even crazier when you have a shield advantage, and I mean crazier. Like, we'll go through the 1 shield to 0 shields later, but first we'll go through the 1 shield and the 0 shield matchups. Unfortunately, the good story starts to close out, because when you're in the 1 shield matchup, it slips from 14 wins down to 8 wins, with 12 losses and 2 draws. With Confusion being a poison type slayer, he still beats the grass types as well as most of the bug types that aren't using bug quick moves, except he now loses to Scyther. He also now only ties with Pidgeot and still ties with Alolan Graveler. He now unfortunately loses to Raichu, Magneton, Magnezone and Vigoroth, although that isn't the end of the GIRAFARIG Vigoroth story, so you just stay tuned. Because moving on to the 0 shield matchup, GIRAFARIG actually ties against Vigoroth, which I think is worthwhile, because if you're able to beat Vigoroth, you're able to beat Vigoroth. Even if Vigoroth has like a tiny smidgen of HP left, you'll be able to just farm that on the next Pokemon, and Vigoroth is gone. So yeah. Obviously in most situations your opponent will want to use shields on the Vigoroth, but on that same token, you're going to be wanting to use your shields on GIRAFARIG. So, you know, you're more likely to get into that 2v2 scenario where you actually beat Vigoroth. With 0 shields, unfortunately GIRAFARIG only has 5 wins, with 13 losses and 4 draws, and his remaining wins are against the grass types that aren't Venusaur, as well as Noctowl and Magneton. He ties up against those non-bug quick move Pokemon, Beedrill, Heracross and Venomoth, on top of tying with Vigoroth as we said before, and then loses to everything else, and by everything else I just mean the other Pokemon that PvPoke has as part of that 22 Pokemon Jungle Cup meta. But back into the storybook, when GIRAFARIG has a shield advantage on the opponent, it is absolutely insane. If you have 1 shield and your opponent has no shields, GIRAFARIG wins 21 out of 22 matchups. He loses once against Fortress, but he literally beats out everything else, which is absolutely crazy. if you're down to the end of the fight and your opponent has used all their shields and you're holding onto yours just for GIRAFARIG in the back, you could win almost any matchup that they throw at you, which is just incredible. So that is the crazy power of GIRAFARIG. In my mind, the ultimate sleeper pick. Obviously, he doesn't work great without shields, so you're going to want to bring him as a lead, but your opponent, if they know about GIRAFARIG, which, you know, maybe they watch me, maybe they don't, but if they know about GIRAFARIG, they might expect you to lead with it, and then you can counter that counter. So they might say, you're going to bring in GIRAFARIG, I'll bring in my fortress, and then you can switch over to a flyer like Noctowl and beat up their fortress. So you can play some mind games too, just by having it on your team. And I hope this video taught you something. Please subscribe so you can get more sneaky bits of gold in the future. And don't forget to like and comment, and actually hit that notification bell because some of my recent videos haven't been showing up for you guys. So do that. And thanks guys. Don't forget to check out my Jungle Cut meta breakdown if you haven't done so already. And see ya.